representing Islam and originally from New York City. This is the Islamic scholar himself. This is Rahim Ali.
You are now inside the Lion's Den.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds.
This is your investigative reporter, Rahim Ali. Peace, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Again, this is your brother Rahim Ali, your investigative reporter, reporting to you from last night's debate with Minister Blanche, aka Black Jesus, who represents TR Radio. It was crazy last night. Though entertaining on his part of being a comedian, nonetheless, he was never a scholar. He didn't present himself in a scholarly way. Now, we're going to get into the debate. I'm going to show the people a little of what happened, and I'm going to show you some pictures and things that I didn't present in the debate because we were dealing in audio. If we were dealing live, and I would have at least 45 to an hour to just go on and show the people actual scholastic evidence, I would have smashed him to bits. He think I did a job on him last night, and that was just audio. Audio plus visual equals acceptance. This man blatantly goes and put up the word Arabic, right? He goes to an English dictionary. Wrong move. Amateur night at the Apollo. Wrong move. An Arab word, you should be taking it to an Arabic dictionary. Know why he can't do that? Because he don't have the credentials in linguistics, especially when it comes to Arabic. Now, he gave us the definition, talking about it means a wanderer, right? Here's Merriam-Webster's dictionary, thesaurus. I have it. It's on DVD. Basically, it's a book on DVD. I have that and the Britannica encyclopedia on DVD on deck. I was able to pull this up right after the debate. This video is being done right now after the debate. This is Saturday. We did the debate last night, Friday. It says Arab. He said it means wanderer. Here it says Arabus, Arabs, Greek, Arab, Arabs, of Shem origin, akin to Akkadian, Arabu, Arabi. That's what I told him in the lecture or debate. Desert nomads, Arab Bedouins. It doesn't mean that. That's what they do. That's what some of them did. Not all of them were desert nomads. If you look in Petra, you see what the Arabs did. They carved great stone and made doorways, living quarters, etc. But I'm going to hold back on that because when I debate live, I'll bring that and just smash anybody who thinks Arabs are not originally from Africa. Here's the definition. Minister Blanche, number one. That's where the definition starts. Do you know how to read and use a dictionary? A member of the Semitic race people of the Arabian Peninsula. B, a member of Arabic-speaking people. 2, Arabian horse, Arab, adjective. And then it goes down, number 2. Abbreviation, Arabian, Arabic. Doesn't say anything about being a wanderer. See? See? You don't know what you're doing. Now, let's keep it moving. I told this guy, I gave him two sources. The darkness inherit the root. Arabic. Al-Arab equal the dark people. Article, the concept of darkness in the Hebrew root. J.A. Loader, linguist. Okay, this man is a linguist. He knows. That's one source. Here's what I was talking about. Here's the top lexicon in the world. Basically one of the top. Like, this is the go-to in Harvard, Stanford, wherever they're in universities talking about Islam and Arabic, professors go here. They go here to this lexicon. Lisan al-Arab. And you see the Arabic, I have the books. I have all 120 of the volumes from 1 to 20. And it states, Arab, al-Arab, means the dark people. The pure Arab describes their color as black, al-Aswad, and the color of the non-Arabs as red, al-Humra. By definition, Aswad, al-Jilda, black skin, dark skin, Khalis ul-Arab, pure Arab. You get what I'm saying? That's in Arabic. That man has no qualifications to even be in the same ring when it comes to this. He used buffoonery in his comedic interpretation to try to wean you into winning a debate. He was more worried about winning the debate. I guess Mikhail beat him so bad, he's trying to get through me. You lost that debate too. The people spoke. These are Arabs. These are the original Arabs. Okay? Not some pale thing that you tried to sell us. You have those two dark sisters. They both are dark with a light brown undertone. See that? As I've displayed in my debate. Look at the sister down in the left hand corner. She's brown skinned. That's my complexion. The brother in Arabia, all of them, that's how the original Arabs were and still are. You see, if I would have did a pictorial PowerPoint illustration, I would have destroyed you. Do you know how many pictures I have of brothers and sisters over there in Arabia, in Africa, the African Arabs? You would have lost. That traditional so-called white Arab is not the original Arab. Figure 2, Mahra Arab of South Arabia. Figure 3 and 4, black Arabs of Hujramat, South Arabia. Those are the originals. Not that traditional white Arab. And I already said in my debate how they became light-skinned. Because of the dark African Arabs having Caucasian slaves, and they had children by those women. How do you think those light-skinned Arabs were able to rise in the household and own things? It was a total different slavery system. As a matter of fact, there's not one type of slavery system like what you've seen with the Caucasian people. There is not. There's different systems, and you need to know that. Let's see what's going on here. In my debate, I said Dana Reynolds' observation here is critical. The indigenous or black tribes of Arabia were those in ancient times migrated from Africa and were the earliest purveyors and dispersers of the Semitic dialects. It says they migrated from Africa to Arabia. And this sister's bad. Don't let me put up her credentials. The Semitic family of languages, the most widespread of is Arabic, is a branch of a larger language phylum called Afro-Asiatic, which consists of the Semitic, ancient Egyptian, Berber, Kushite, Omatic, and Chadic families. Minister Owell Pianki even said this. He said Egyptian, Berber, Kushite, Omatic, and Chadic family. So he's saying the same thing I said. He wasn't agreeing with you. This is the second time somebody has came on, agreed with me, then the person talks right after and goes, yeah, I agree with that person. They said, no, he didn't agree with you. This is the second time it happened. You were so spent that he agreed with me, basically, that you went insane and thought he was agreeing with you. Where at? Matter of fact, he even corrected you about your own pictures. He told you where it was, what number it was, who they really were, and so forth. You couldn't say nothing because you know why? He was over there. See, I ain't over there, but those people come to me because I have a connection with those type of people. Meaning I have first-hand sources. Meaning I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Man, I got some pictures that when I get in the debate with somebody and they talking about Arabians is this and that, I am going to blow them off this planet. You were not ready. Now, it says, while some scholars maintain the Afro-Asiatic originated in Asia, most linguists now accept that it originated in Africa, where 5 of the 6 general recognized branches still reside to this day, as I've shown you those pictures of those sisters and that brother. There's my references. As a matter of fact, I gave you one reference. There's 2. John Hendengrad, Afro-Asiatic, and Roger D. Woodward, the ancient languages of Syria, Palestine, and Arabia. Cambridge University. Cambridge. That's one of the top universities on the planet. Runoko Rashidi is the authority on Africa, Near Eastern, Asia, India. He's the one who went into India to see the untouchables, where Caucasians didn't go. Those are some of the dark, matter of fact, they are the darkest people on the planet. He says, Golden Age of the Moor, page 67. A summary account of the Moors in antiquity would be incomplete without at least a brief overview of the African presence in early Arabia. The Arabian Peninsula, first inhabited more than 8,000 years ago, meaning over 8,000 years ago, was early populated by blacks, meaning Africans. Once dominated over the entire peninsula, the African presence in early Arabia is most clearly traceable through the Sabians, which is in Arabia. You can walk from in Egypt, you can walk from Egypt right into Arabia. Arabia is nothing but Northeast Africa, and I proved that in my debate. So we don't have to go through the ring around the rosy crap. Warner Dime supports Runoko Rashidi. He says in his Urshemete Religion, page 99, Warner Dime, a German Orientalist, in his book Urshemete Religion, Proto-Semitic Religion, displays a reconstruction of the first Semitic people religion. Dr. Dom shows us that these Semitic people had a Semitic language and culture. With the epigraphic evidence and data, was able to understand who these first Semitic people were, who entered the Levant 9,000 years ago, migrating from the heart of Africa. He's saying the same thing Runoko Rashidi did. This dude went over there and reconstruct. Do you even know what that means? When archaeologists go over and reconstruct so they can, this is one of the things you do to find out what the people did by their culture, linguistics, food eating, everything. And epigraphic evidence, you reconstruct the area, the knowledge. He was there and reconstructed. You and I wasn't there. He's a scholar. He has a PhD. He's saying the same thing Runoko Rashidi is saying. Now you people could get to see some of the stuff I was saying. Wayne Chandler, Ebony and Bronze, page 280. All the chronicles that survive intact agree that Ishmael and Muhammad were of the black race. A careful examination of history reveals that Prophet Muhammad was of the black race and black in complexion. That's proof, one of the proofs, that he was of the black race. And the people of his time, the Arabs, were dark Africans. I can say that they were dark Africans, who, so forth and whatever, were Muslims. So I definitely can say that. Let's go to another source. Africans in the birth of and the spread of Islam, Mamadou Chinleyu. Since the revelation that inspired Muhammad in 622 AD, Africans have been pivotal figures in the development of the Islamic faith. Didn't say Arabs. Islam is nothing more, and you better get this, Islam is nothing more than the African continuation of the spiritual system. I learned this some years ago. I didn't learn it when I first came in Islam. That's all it is. An African continuating spiritual system. There is in no time in history of the faith that Islam can be disassociated from Africans. It's saying you can't, he's saying you can't disassociate it from Africans. Meaning Africans must have started it. It's an African spiritual system. African blood figures in Muhammad's lineage. When he's talking about blood, that's DNA. That's lineage. And Africans in his upbringing and development. If you don't know who took care of Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you don't know the history, you are not qualified to talk about anything Islamic. He tried to make it an Islamic and Christian debate. You see how he tried to change the subject? What type of debater are you? Like I told you before, you're inexperienced. The debate was, are the original Arabs African? You tried to make it a Islamic versus Christianity. That wasn't the debate. See? That's what you tried to do. But it didn't work. Because the people spoke. They didn't go for it. Julian Baldick from the book Black God. The Afro-Asiatic roots of the Jewish, Christians, and Muslim religions. Introduction, what I put in my debate. This book presents for the first time a comparative study of the Afro-Asiatic traditional religions of Northern Africa and Arabia. See, he tried to take Afro-Asiatic and just make it Africa. It says and Arabia. So Julian Baldick is putting Arabia with Africa under Afro-Asiatic. You see how he tried to separate it? See, he's doing what the Caucasians tried to do back then. Keep us separated. He don't even know he has a European paradigm. He uses an English dictionary for an Arabic word. A modicum of knowledge will tell you, the average person, if it's Arabic, you go to an Arabic dictionary, not English. It argues that just as there is a common Afro-Asiatic language family in this region, so too there is a common family of religions. See, I keep telling people we worship the same God, but people want to, we don't worship. Okay, cool. I'll take that as a debate too. It's not even a debate. I got knowledge. It doesn't just wipe that off the planet. We ain't got to debate that. With an inner logic to be found in myths, folktales, rituals, customs, and beliefs as far apart as Yemen and Nigeria. That's why when I gave my class about Islam, I showed the comparison of Egypt and Islam having the same similarities. Don't mean that they stole from one another. It's of the same spiritual system, the same spiritual common stock. Let's move on. This dude went and talked about the Anu people. He doesn't even know I know about that. The one on your left is the Anu, and the one on your right is Kushite. Look what it says. Depiction of the Anu on Terra Netta tile. A Kushite Asiatic as depicted on the tomb of Shabbataka. They basically are the same people. See what I'm saying? They are the same people. The Kushites are ones who went in Arabia and basically was named Arabians. So on both sides of the Red Sea. Let's move on. This is from the Newsweek, showing you the migrations. And I have more. I'm just using this as a reference. I have more from top scholars, doctors with PhD. This is just one of them I'm showing y'all. Our people migrated from the heart of Africa and went west, south, into Arabia, stopped out of Arabia, went all the way to Australia, went into India, all the way to Australia. That's why you have the Aborigines in Australia. You see, here's a map, geographical evidence. They give you the numbers, 45, 50,000, 30, 40,000. They did the research dealing with DNA and fossil evidence. You can read it. Tigris and Euphrates is in Arabia, and I'm gonna prove that. Well, I don't need to prove it. I already did in the debate. Let's move on. He talks about Shem as if Shem is some light-skinned, I don't know. Like Shem, this International Standard Bible Encyclopedia, hence the International. International. I have all the volumes, the books. This is used worldwide also. It says Shem. Number one, position in Noah's family. His name. The eldest of the son of Noah, from whom the Jews as well as the Semitic nations in general have descended. When giving the names of Noah's three sons, Shem is always mentioned first. And though the elder in Shem, the brother of Japheth, the elder is explained as referring to Shem. This is not the rendering of Onkleos. His 5 sons peopled the greater part of West Asia's finest tracts. That's Arabia. And Elam on the east to the Mediterranean on the west. That's the Levant. Though generally regarded as meaning dusky. Dusky is dark. I'm going to show you that dusky means it got to be like what Ham possibly equals black. Dusky is dark. It explains Japheth fair. That's a whole different subject of Japheth. But Shem was dark. Here's from the map of Blue Letter Bible / International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. History textbook and Atlas of Biblical Geography, 1854 by Coleman. The world as known to the Hebrews. You see where Shem takes up the whole of Arabia? And I got the list of all the people all the way to Abdiel, 1 to 39. Arabians. I didn't make this map up. And I got more maps. So you can see that the Red Sea is really Arabian Gulf. But they just name it the Red Sea because sometimes it turns red. But it's originally Arabian Gulf. Because on both sides of the Red Sea is Arabia also. I already proved that in the debate. Now look at Shem. Illustrated Bible Dictionary, M.G. Easton, page 199. I got this book too. This is the book also. So you see Shem, Ishmaelites who mingled with the Arab tribes descended from Joktan in the line of Eber from Arphax. It's telling you right there. Ishmael had to be dark. His father was dark. Noah was dark. Shem was dark. What are you talking about? If the Nigerian people who are dark mix with people from Kenya who are dark, what are you going to get? A dark child. They ain't going to come out light-skinned unless it's a rare occurrence of albinoism. He talks about Arabia, and he don't know that here is some of the proof of that. It's even in his own Bible that Arabia, Sinai, is in Arabia. On both sides of the Aqaba point at the dagger's tip. On both sides of the Aqaba. Sinai, a famous mountain of Arabia Petra, on which God gave the law to Moses. So Moses was in Arabia when he received his revelation from Allah personally. The Arabs call Mount Sinai by the name of Tor. That is the mountain by way of excellence, or Gibel Musa, the mountain of Moses. Notice it ain't saying nothing about no Hebrews. Let's bring it all the way to Muhammad time. Already started right in the beginning that there's dark Arabs right over there right now. It starts out with dark Arabs. Arabs can't start off light skinned. Just like the human family started off dark and goes from dark to light. African origins of the major religions, Western religions. Dr. Ben says, Muhammad was in the family of the black race. Page 237. As I put in my debate, Elijah Muhammad says, Pittsburgh's Courier, January 18th, 1958. The white race has never accepted a black prophet of whom all were black. Even Abraham, Moses, and Jesus belong to the black nation, not to mention Muhammad, whom the white race knows was black. Message to the black man says the same thing. Page 62. I know a lot of people out there got message to the black man. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop. He was born in Senegal, in Africa. It says, page 151, when Muhammad was born, Arabia was a Negro colony with Mecca as its capital. A lot of these books I have, when you see or go look at Rahim's book collection, you will see me put up these books. I'm on video. Then he goes on to say, I have demonstrated in my earlier works, all the biological and cultural kinship between Arabs and black Africans, a kinship so old that it goes back to the 5th millennium BC and the beginning of the 4th with the birth of the Semitic world. This dude, when he was alive, he used the carbon dating system. He put it this way. That was a bad brother. This man right here, Al-Hajj Kamil Abu Bakr Sharif, he's living in Africa right now. Guess what? That man is from the line of Prophet Muhammad. They got a masjid out there. They doing works in public relations, helping people and so forth. He is from the line of Muhammad, and I can prove it. I got videotape. So if this guy is dark, he don't even have the features of full lips. He has a wide nose, but he's dark nonetheless with melanin. He's darker than I am. If this is how that man looks, Muhammad had to look just like him, with the same melanin tone, as I can prove through linguistics and show you that Muhammad was dark. David M. Goldenberg, Cursive Hand, pages 18 to 19. Today we see the Red Sea separating two distant lands, Africa and Arabia. But in antiquity, it was not seen that way. Indeed, the world of classical antiquity, from Herodotus to Strabo, the term Arabia included the area across the Red Sea up until the Nile. So what was his problem trying to debate something like this? David Goldenberg is a doctor, DD. Not DD, but he has a PhD. And watch what he says. It wasn't the Red Sea, but the Nile that constituted the boundary between Africa and Asia. These Greek and Roman sources point to the same phenomenon as do the ancient Near Eastern sources, that the Red Sea did not serve as an ethnic boundary. Ethnic, talking about, he tried to separate Arabs from so-called Africans. They were the same. Ethnic boundary and land on both its sides shared the same name, whether that name was Arabia in Greek source or Cush in the Bible. Here is the Herodotus map I was talking about. Do you see for yourself Arabia stretching from one side of Arabia into into Middle Africa, where the Nile is? And now I'm going to freak your minds with a map better than this one. Seventh-day Adventist Bible Dictionary map. Look what it says. It's going by color code. Purple is Europe, Scythians, Thrace, Illyria, right? Now, you see Africa, it's basically red, right? Got Ethiopia, Meroe, Elephantine, Thebes, Amenemnium, all right? But the orange is Arabia. See See, Herodotus was there 450 BC. He was an eyewitness. Me and Blanche were not eyewitnesses. Now, look where Arabia is. It's in Africa on both sides of the Nile, stretching all the way back to India. Case closed. I would have killed you. Case closed. Now, he want to talk about, you're talking about barbarians. I ain't say barbarians, I said bardarians. See, you don't know anything about really Egypt. You try to pretend. See, I got documentation on this. Too much. There's too much. The bardarians as Afrabians. This is a term that you don't know about that scholars have made up. They call it Afrabians, meaning they're African Arabians. You don't even know that term exists. Now you do. This Southern African and Eastern Asiatic duality of the prehistoric population, no, it says duality, of Egypt is reflected already in the earliest Upper Egyptian culture of the pre-dynastic, before the first dynastic period. Pre-dynastic period, the barbarians. There is my references down below. Let's keep it moving. Without any doubt, the basic cultural, agricultural and pastoral complex of the barbarian culture, the occurrence of the first painted pottery and first copper, together with some important ideology concepts, have Middle Eastern roots. Hey, but Middle Eastern is Arabia. But there's really no such thing as Middle East. I can prove that too. Alfred Mahan started that crap. Okay, other evidence points to African origins. See? This cultural duality is a parallel to a certain biological duality of the population. Clear cut and dry. The barbarian culture of Middle Egypt evidenced around 600 wealthy graves. I got knowledge on that. I got all the points where the graves is. I got that. Was excavated in 1924-29 by the British School of Archaeology in the region of El Badari. There's a place called El Badari and you don't even know it's in Egypt. On the west bank of the Nile. Thermal luminescence. That's another way they can track how old this thing is. They got different ways of tracking. They don't just use radiocarbon, as some people may think. Test that a date of 5000 BC, though most writers prefer the lower radiocarbon dates of 4400 to 4000 BC. See? This is older than dynastic Egypt. Watch this. The barbarians were a highly cultured and civilized group, bearing witness to a complex and technological advanced society. Their pottery, evidence of a high level of pyrotechnology, is particularly fine, unmatched by anything produced by subsequent Egyptians. Barbarian culture is especially important in that it is the Ergeminde, meaning proto-community, of which dynastic Egypt eventually evolved. That tells you the Egyptians came from them. I told you, here's all the sources. Here's all the sources. The Oxford History of Ancient Egypt, I got that in my house right now. Go to my video, Rahim's book collection. I got that in my house right now. I have journals. I have all this stuff. You're not ready. S.O.Y. Keaty does a great job about the barbarians. Man, you're not ready. Here's general, I got this book also, General History of Africa. I got all the volumes. Here's the lineage map. Africa, Volume 2, page 86. I know you don't got this in your library. I know, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. Look, it says pre-dynastic. Then it says first dynasty, which men started. He was the one who put Upper and Lower Egypt together. You have the Barbarian people. Then you have Nagada 1 and Nagada 2. Then the first dynasty. As the brother Pianki said, Egypt wasn't even on the map. It was a marsh at one time. Hundreds and thousands of years, the silt would come down from the Induation period every year, and that's how that land got there. I even said that in one of my no, it wasn't my debate. I think it was Josh was talking about Egypt, and I came on as a caller, and I told Josh that Egypt wasn't always there. See? That's why I said I agree with Pianki 100%. That's why I said that. Here is some of the paintings or carvings that the Barbarians did. It's over there now. That's them. Don't look nothing like Egyptians. But that's where the Egyptians evolved from. So, I've proven my point in the debate, and now people can see at least a little bit of what I was saying inside the debate. Okay? And I'm going to say this. Blanche, you need to study. You need to get up under some real scholars and stop playing around and thinking you can win a debate by arguing people to death. And you keep talking and you keep talking. You didn't bring no evidence. You said academic. But when you said academic, I was thinking you was going to bring some academic scholars to the table. You didn't bring any. That's why you lost the debate. You're coming back next year or next season, man, you should have been doing this since Mikael. You're just not ready. You're telling people stuff that you're wrong. And as a matter of fact, I got some of this stuff I didn't even bring up in the debate. You know how extensive my library on this alone is? It's over 100 sources. I lost count. I will disintegrate you, decimate you into the earth or something if we was to do this live. It would be over for you. You might as well just drop the mic, walk off the stage. And with that, people, you can hit me up if you need the pictures or whatever, and I'll send them to you. So with that, I'll say Assalamu alaikum, and I enjoyed the debate and giving the people knowledge. That's what I enjoy, giving them the correct knowledge. Peace.